Beneath your floors, an exposed dirt crawl space is constantly exhaling moisture into the bones of your house. It creates a damp, uncontrolled cavity where wood rot and mold easily take hold. Crawl space encapsulation isolates that cavity. You line the dirt floor and walls with heavy plastic, sealing the vents to turn that exterior cavity into a closed part of your conditioned envelope. Professionally installed, the process costs anywhere from $3,000 to $15,000. To justify that massive expense, contractors frequently pitch encapsulation as a green energy upgrade that will eventually pay for itself through lower utility bills. This chart shows the sales pitch versus the reality. Standard marketing claims promise up to 30% energy savings, total waterproofing, and a system you never have to think about again. The reality column is blank because data from organizations like Energy Star simply do not support those numbers. Encapsulation is highly effective, but it is a damage prevention tool to stop rot and mold, not a magic bullet for heating bills. Making a five-figure decision based on the promise of energy savings usually leads to an expensive mistake. Before you sign a contract, there is a 10-minute diagnostic test you can run yourself to determine what your specific foundation actually requires. Encapsulation is the final finishing step in a foundation repair process. It has to start with a strict safety and moisture evaluation. If you seal a crawl space that has active foundation leaks or pooling water after rainstorms, you trap that bulk water beneath the plastic liner. It accelerates hidden structural rot instead of stopping it. This scorecard shows the fatal flaws of sealing. Wrapping a foundation alters air movement, concentrating soil gases like radon inside. The EPA action level is 4 picocuries per liter. At this mark, you must design a depressurization system to exhaust the gas. Next, standard atmospheric combustion appliances can backdraft in a sealed space, pulling carbon monoxide inside. These must be converted to direct vent systems before sealing. Finally, remediate active mold on joists first, or the sealed plastic creates a warm incubator that accelerates colonization out of sight. Skipping these prerequisites takes a damp nuisance and turns it into an enclosed trap for water, radon, and carbon monoxide. The financial pitch requires scrutiny. The U.S. Department of Energy estimates actual HVAC savings from a sealed insulated crawl space at 10 to 15%, about half of the 30% often pitched by salespeople. This data matrix graphs the true cost versus payback. Looking at typical household HVAC spending across the bottom, we map out how percentages translate to dollar savings. On a conservative estimate, you might save $200 to $350 a year on utility bills, offsetting an upfront installation cost of $6,000 to $8,000. The math shows an energy payback period of 20 to 30 years. That easily outlasts the time most homeowners will even live in the house. The actual return on investment for encapsulation comes from moisture control, specifically preventing the crawl space environment from ever reaching 60% relative humidity. You weigh the upfront cost of encapsulation against the massive bills required to fix rot. Professional mold remediation runs up to $6,000, and catastrophic joist replacement easily clears $10,000. Encapsulation is an insurance policy against catastrophic structural failure. Even when installed safely, creating an airtight box beneath a home introduces a physics problem. Moisture still seeps through the concrete walls and minor air leaks. Without an active drying strategy, you've built a humidity trap. This quadrant chart plots effort versus impact. To reach the high impact zone, installing a permanent, dedicated dehumidifier is mandatory for full encapsulation. The unit must run continuously to maintain a strict 40 to 55% humidity level, ensuring mold cannot grow. This commits you to ongoing mechanical maintenance. You must check filters, clear drain lines, and budget for a guaranteed $1,300 to $2,800 replacement every 8 to 12 years. Then you have to navigate local structural code requirements, particularly regarding pest control and termite inspection access. Contractors frequently take a shortcut. They run the white wall liners all the way up to the wooden sill plate because it looks completely seamless and clean to the homeowner. However, that shortcut completely blocks the masonry visibility. In North and South Carolina, building codes require a 3 to 6 inch inspection gap at the top so pest inspectors can check for termite tunnels. A sealed system without a maintained dehumidifier and proper inspection gaps is a cleaner-looking version of the original problem. It actively creates hidden real estate liabilities for when you try to sell the home. You can avoid buying a system you don't need by taking 10 minutes to categorize your home's exact conditions. This decision tree maps your options. First is the energy optimizer path. If your crawl space is mostly dry and reads consistently below 60% humidity, keep your money. Just install a basic ground vapor barrier to block soil moisture, and you are done. Next, check for hazards. If you find standing water after a rainstorm, untreated mold on the joists, or untested atmospheric gas appliances, halt your encapsulation plans entirely. Invest your budget into fixing those critical safety prerequisites first. Plastic will not fix a flood. Finally, the damage mitigator path. If you have no bulk standing water, but you experience chronic humidity over 60%, cupping hardwood floors, musty odors, and sweating HVAC ductwork under the house, that is your trigger. Full encapsulation with an active dehumidifier is exactly what you need. It is a high-maintenance investment, but it is the required path to permanently preserve your home's structural value.